Hello, and how are you? Welcome to another episode of learning how to make web application using Laravel admin. So in the previous classes, we looked up to the point of filters in the columns. Filters with the grid, and we looked at a lot. So I'm going to take it from there and proceed. So today we're going to look at editable fields, the field that you can be able to edit even in the, without going back, without refreshing the page. So Laravel admin gives us ability to edit inline, or we're going to see how we can edit within the line without changing any page, without refreshing the whole page. So Laravel gives us ability to edit different things, such as the text, such as the text area input, such as the select, such as the date selection, and date and time, year selection, month, etc. All these ones we have ability to edit them in the line without doing what? Without refreshing the page. It can even give us the ability to do what? To do the switch, and even the group switch, even the radio button and the checkboxes within the same line. So we're going to see how we can implement this one, editing in line. We're going to use this controller of filters, and we use it for demonstration of today's class. Okay, so let's go ahead and start our today's business. So for example, if you want to edit, for example, text in line, you just simply add editable, and then you'll be able to edit in line without refreshing the whole page. For example, say that you want to change, maybe to be able to change this name. Okay, so to do that, you just simply come to Laravel, and you just come to your project, and then we're using this controller filter, and then I'm going to make this editable. For example, this name, I'm going to make it what? To make it editable. For example, the details, I'm going to make it editable. So if I want to make it details editable, I just simply add a method. I call the method editable on it, and then I'll be able to do what? To edit in line on that particular record. So if I come and refresh here, you'll see my records, my details are now what? Are now editable. For example, if I want to change here some details, I can click just here and then say this is new information, something like this, and then I submit by clicking here. So here to be able to edit within the line without refreshing the whole what? Without refreshing the whole page. And you just achieve that simply by adding editable on a certain column, and then it will be able to do what? To edit. You'll be able to edit. So you can say editable text area. So if you pass this parameter, it means that this will give you what? A text area. It will provide you a text area. So if I say editable text area and then come and refresh, so when I'll try to edit, you see they're giving me a space that is big as a text area. This is text area. Okay, so I can even press enter and write anything that I want, like this. And when I save, you'll see this is text area and has bigger space. So that's how you can achieve what? You can achieve the text area. You can as well do the drop down by just simply say select, and then you put the what? The options in an array. Then you put the, you can implement the select option feature by just simply putting the title, and then you say editable, and then you put here the value what we're going to edit, which the method you want to use for editing that particular column. For example, you say select, and then you put comma, and then you put options that you want someone to pick from using what? Using an array. So that is how you can implement the what? The select. For example, if I come here, let's say that in this we need someone to be able to select, which I don't know where it is applicable. Let's say where. Let me see. I don't see where there's an option of selecting. I think let us try it from the rooms. Okay, let's say for example this yes. You want someone to edit online and have ability to click and say yes or no. Okay, so let's go to this controller, which is the column basic usage controller. So I'll come to column basic usage controller, and then come to where there is room availability here. Okay, so if I want someone to be able to edit online, and I mean inline, and have these options, so I'll come here and just simply put editable. So when you do like this, and then you come here, so the first thing that you pass is the type of editing that you want, which is select, and then you put the what, the options in an array, as you can see there. So select, and then the first options is the what is available for yes, and then not available for no, for example, something like that. So when you do like this, a user will be able to do what, to edit in line and with a drop down without doing what, without refreshing the whole page. So if I come here and refresh, you'll see I'll have ability to do what, to edit. It is not showing because we are using this what, because we are using this using, okay, so they are kind of contradicting. But if I remove this using, for example, I comment it and come and refresh, I'll be able to see yes and no. So I think, let me see here, this using is supposed to be available for yes and not available for no. I think, yeah, like this. Okay, so if I come and refresh, it should be able to show available and not available. I don't know why it's not doing that. Okay, let me just comment it. Okay, let's see also what we saved in originally. Originally, what did this? It was just an empty text. Okay, so now let's see how we can make the editing online. So if I come and refresh here, I'll have ability to edit by clicking there, and then it gives me a drop down. You see, I can say yes, I can say no, and this drop down is a what? Is a list of options that I have specified. So I can simply say no, and I'm doing this in line without changing any what, without refreshing the whole page, something like that. So if I refresh here, you'll be able to see that it has done what? It has updated. I hope you can see that. So that is select. Another one is editable date. For example, you want to be able to set the date. I can come here and look for the date that I want to change. Let's say that we need to edit the create that date. We need to change it in the line. So you just simply say, let me look for this created at. Is it there? I don't think it is there. The column. I think we remove. Okay, it is here. It is hidden just. So I can just simply put edit, and then I pass the parameter of date. So by doing like that, I'll be able to edit it in form of what? In form of a date. So let's go ahead and see. I refresh. That is the date. So when I click here, I'll have ability to say the date. So here is the year, and here is the what? Is the month, and here is the what? Is the day, and then I say yes. So when I do like this, it will go ahead and do it and update it accordingly. So that is how you update the what? The date. So if you want the date and time, you just simply pass date time like this. Then we'll be able even to edit the what? The time. So if you want the year, you can just simply pass the year. If you want to edit it in form of a month, the drop down of a month, you just put month. And if you want to edit it in form of days, you can just simply put edit days. Then you'll be able to do what? To achieve all these things. So I have another thing, which is a switch. So a switch can also be used on what? On the grid. First of all, you first define the what? The states. So here you can say it is on if value is either 1 or value is either open or value is either primary. So here you first define what you mean by being on, and then you also define what is meaning by being what? By being off, and then you go ahead and do what? And implement it by just simply saying column status, and then you pass there you call switch, and then you pass these what? These options. So by doing like that, you'll be able to switch either on or what? Or off. So that's it. You can even implement the what? The checkbox on what? on the inline, so you can try that by yourself. So let us go now to the row actions. So different actions that you can do on what? On a row. So a row is the one that has this action. By the way, this is very important. Let me come here. This is very important. So we are now talking about the row itself. So this particular row, for example, as you can see it here, what are the things that you can do on it? Okay. So first and foremost, the row is the one that comes with the what? With this action. So if you want to modify this action, you can either modify it outside the row, or you can even modify it inside the what? Inside the row feature. So you can either modify them inside the grid actions, or you can modify them outside the grid action feature. So for example, if you don't want, maybe for some reason, someone to see the delete button here. If you don't want someone to see the delete button here, what do? You may be able to do what? To hide it. For example, you can simply come and say, if maybe you are a specific type of a user, I don't want to see your edit button. So to do that, I'll just simply come and say grid and say action. Let me come on top. So grid, and let's say action, and then it takes what? It takes a callback function like this. So if I say, it will bring me actions here. So if I say action disable view, it will not be able to show the what? The view option. See? And the delete option. So if I click here, I'm here, I think I'm here, I'm on this one. If I click there, I'll not be able to see the what the edit. If you, I'll not be able to see the delete. Can you see? I'll not be able to see the what? The delete. So for sometimes for some reason you may not need someone to see a specific thing. Let's say that if I'm logged in as a specific user and I don't want to show something, you can check here my role and disable a thing that you don't want a specific user to do what? To see. So that's one. Another one is in case you want now the row key, okay, the row itself. So if you want to get the row itself, for example, maybe you want to manipulate the row for some sake inside this action section, you can do what? You can get the row like this, okay? Let's say that maybe you want to say that if something is less than 0, it should not be able to be edited, or it should not show anything like of this certain kind. You can get the data. So if you want to access this whole data about this particular row, if you want to access it in this action sections, so what you do what? You call it like this, just simply say actions and then you say dash row. You point at row. So if you point at row, it will be able to give you all the records of a particular what? Of a particular row here. Okay? Be able to give you this one record of a particular row. So that's it. If you want to get the ID of that row, you just simply say actions get key. So by doing like this, it will give you the ID of what? Of that particular row that you have selected. So we have different actions that you may need to do. That you may need to do. For example, if you want to be able to get here another button, maybe. Okay, if you want to get another button here, something like that, you can as well do that. Okay, you can as well do that. So let's see how it can be done. So this is one way. You can just simply say action append, and then you put there the link that you want to be added in what? On the actions. However, that's not the recommended way. So you see, I just simply say action append, and then I put the what? The link. Okay, so if I come and refresh, you see that I'm supposed to have here some link. not show up. So now what if you want to, I think this one was even deprecated. Now if you want to add an action on a specific column, let's say that maybe you want to add there maybe add room from here. What you do, you can do it, you have to write this class first. You have to write this class first and then give it a name and then give it the action that needs to be done when someone clicks on that on that particular button that you have added. So let's also look at the batch actions. Okay, sometimes you may need to do what to perform batch actions on what on our form. So I'm going to show you how we can do this. So if you want to perform batch operations such as this one, for example, coming here and maybe delete or something like that. Sorry, coming here on the table, like you select multiple actions, and then you'll be able to do what to either do a batch delete or do a batch copy or do a logic on many things that you'll have selected. If you want to do something like that, so these are the steps that you have to take. Okay. So the first thing is you have to run this this command PHP artisan and then admin action. Then you say the model that you want to do to implement, and then you put the the new name that you want to call that particular class. Okay. So for example, this is going to create a class called replica for the post model. However, you can use many different classes or different naming of classes. So after you put the grid row and then you put the name of the of that particular action that you want. For example, this one is going to be done for copying. So if I come and run this command on our tab, in our terminal, it will create for me another file. Okay, inside the admin and then actions and then this action, this file with the name that we gave it here. So that file is the one that we're going to use to handle the logic of someone after selecting those things that you'll have selected and then fix on maybe submit or something like that. It's where we'll handle this particular logic. So this file is literally this one, and you can create your own. You can even duplicate the one that you already had, something like that. Okay. So let's see. It was crying. Okay. So now you can see here it is just the name of the file, and then you say it extends the row actions, and then you put what the user should see in the after selecting batch, and here you put the handle. So this handle is a hook that will be called when the user has selected. When someone has done that particular action. So let us see how we can do it, how we can implement it. Okay. So to do that, we can simply come here to to our form. So for example, here I'm showing you how you can duplicate things, and then maybe after I do it and you save. Okay, so now to add it on the form, what you do, these one are for the actions. For example, this one to add on the form, you just simply come to action and then you reference what you did, what you created. So this is also a row action. So I can just simply come to, for example, to my filter column, and then I add this. Okay, so actions, and then add, and then you put here the other class that I just created. Okay, so if I come here and refresh on my actions, you'll be able to see another action that was not there originally. I hope you can see it. It is called copy. Okay, so if I click on this copy, what it's going to do is going to execute the other function or the other handle that we did, what that we created. So now if, for example, you see here it is replica, and then it will be executing this action that is here and there, and then this is the place where it will be executing from. So let's say that you want maybe to copy this data, really copying it when someone clicks on that copy. So to do that, you can just simply put here copy and then say save. I mean replicate and then save. Replicate is a function of Laravel that can be used to do what? To duplicate. So here, in other words, this model is what the user will have selected, and then we'll be able to do what? To access it from here. Okay, so I hope you've understood that. So if I come here and refresh, so this class, I mean this function that I'm pointing at, its work is to duplicate. That's another way of duplicating the records in Laravel. So if I come here and say copy, then it will do what? It will add for me another record. Can you see? I have now two records which are almost what? Identical. But only the ID is what? Is different, and the naming. So that is how you do what? That's how you do that's how you do an extra action. That's how you add an extra action in your what? In your actions. It can be a redirecting action. It can be anything. Just think anything that you may think about, and you add it. Then you can listen to the what? To the results from this what? From this particular hook. After the user has selected, click on that action. So that is it. That's how you replicate things. You can as well do like this. Okay. So another way is the page redirection. Okay, so in case you want to direct the user, for example, to say that maybe you want to direct the user, you can direct the user by just simply doing this one. Okay, by just simply say return, and then you put href like that. And okay, while there is href, you return the what? The link. Okay, and then you go to do what? To direct the users. So we have actions, another action. The other action was for the row. Now we have another action for the what? For the room. I mean for the single item. Okay, let's say that we want to give ability to copy multiple items. The other one we could just copy one by one, but let's say that we want to copy multiple items. So what do? You just simply, it's not this method is not purposely for copying. This is just a simple example that we're trying to use. But you can use that feature for so many things, for so many things, even writing your own logic. Okay. So for example, the other one, this one was stopping from here, where I could get the action on the action. Now this one is where we want to do it on what? On multiple things. Let me go ahead and run it. I hope it is well written. It is just simply administer, and then you say replicate, and then you give this batch a name, and then you give what it should copy and that's how you should name it. So if I press enter, it will process for me another action. I hope you can see another action that has been processed here. Okay, I hope you can see it. So if I come to another action, of course, I'm going to be given, now here we're being given what? We've been given a single model before. I mean, like how it was before here. We're being given a single model because we expected one model, because this is action on in one row. But this one is an action on the what? On the entire forms. You can add anything from that file. So let's go ahead and maybe save a time and copy this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add it to what? In this, and then paste there. And then after, so we now have batch replica here with the name. Okay, so you can always override the name from here. So after doing that, now you have to add it in what? You'll have to handle the logic from this handle. Okay, so you see, this is the handle where we handle the logic. Can you see? And then this is why you will loop and access anything that might have been given to the what, to the okay. So now after so that will have been selected. So here, I think that will be selected, will be given to you as a collection, and then you can loop on it and then do anything that you want from here. Okay, so let us go ahead and take let's go ahead and put now this action into the what? Into our grid. So I'll come here to the grid, where the grid of so I'll just simply come and say which controller we're looking for. We are looking for example, the filters controller. So I'll just simply come and say filters controller, it is here. I just simply say like this. Okay, grid, and then say add batch replicate. Okay, like this. So if it do like that, I can refresh, and after refreshing, I can be able to select. So after selecting, I can be able to do what? To perform a batch action from here. You see, batch copy. So it will process and copy them and save them in database. So my whole point is this. The whole point is when it is submitted, the data comes here in this hook, and then this is a place where you can modify that data and save it, or you ignore it, or put in dustbin, or do anything. By the way, this is the what? This is so. This is the collection that you do what? That you'll have to loop through to get each value that will have been selected. So let's say maybe you want to set maybe a room price of so many rooms that you've selected to a specific price. You just simply select them, and then you say this is that price, and then all of that, as you say, so all of them will have your name as they are being what? As they are being updated and don't appear. So here it is where you can do what? You can access everything that was saved after selection. So now interaction, you may need also to implement the dialog box in your what? In your systems. So I think I'll start from there because I'm already tired. We'll start from there and you see how we can implement these what? These dialogs in our system. So see you in the next class.